you doing? Today I have an important and interesting grammar lesson for you. So are you ready with your notebooks? Well, we have 4 conditionals in English. We also have mixed conditionals, but today we are going to focus on the 4 conditionals in English. The 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional and third conditional. Of course, I'm Rashmi from an English Nut. Let's get started. Each conditional sentence has an if clause and a main clause. The if clause states the situation or the condition and the main clause states the result. 0 conditional and first conditional talk about real or possible situations. Second conditional and third conditional talk about unreal or imaginary situations. Let's have a look at these conditionals one by one. The 0 conditional. The if clause contains if plus present simple and the main clause contains present simple. So it's the easiest to remember because both the clauses contain present simple tense. 0 conditional is used to talk about facts, habits, truths and instructions. For example, if you heat ice, it melts. It's a fact, right? If you heat ice, it melts. Now you can also move the clauses and the meaning remains the same. So you can also say ice melts if you heat it. There's no difference in the meaning. There's only one difference and that's the comma. When the if clause comes first, we need to add a comma. When the if clause comes afterwards, there's no need to add a comma. And this is true for all the conditionals. Now you can add when in the place of if when it comes to 0 conditional and the meaning remains the same. So you can also say when you heat ice, it melts. And this is true for 0 conditional. When you add when in the place of if in the first, second and third conditionals, the meaning changes. Let's have a look at some more examples of the 0 conditional. If I cry, I have a headache. If I'm sad, I eat chocolates. If you don't eat enough, you lose weight. Text me if you get lost. If she comes here again, tell her to go away. Let's talk about the first conditional. The first conditional talks about things that can probably be true. It talks about the possible future conditions and its possible results. The if clause contains if plus present simple and the main clause contains will plus infinitive. Here are some examples. If I don't leave soon, I will miss the train. The contracted form of I will is I'll. We usually use the contracted forms in spoken English. If you practice every day, you will pass the exam. If I meet my friend, I'll ask her about the ticket. If it gets colder, we'll cancel the picnic. I'll finish my homework if I have time. When it comes to the first conditional, it's important to consider modal verbs. You can use modal verbs in the place of will to express recommendation, certainty, permission. Here are some examples. If I don't fill up the form now, I might not be allowed to participate in the competition. If you study hard, you could pass the exam. If I meet her on the way, I shall ask her. If it gets colder, we should light a fire. As I told you earlier, the second conditional and the third conditional talk about unreal or imaginary situations. Let's move on to the second conditional. It talks about things that are probably not going to be true. We often use the second conditional to talk about imagination, dreams and fantasies. The if clause contains if plus past simple and the main clause contains would plus infinitive. You will get a clear idea with the help of these examples. If I had more money, I would buy a car. If I got sick, I would go to the doctor. I'm not sick, it's just an imagination. If I won the lottery, I would buy a new house. So this is a hypothetical situation. It's not real. Coming to the last conditional, the third conditional. The third conditional is used to imagine a different past. The if clause contains if plus past perfect, and the main clause contains would have plus past participle. Here are some examples. If I had been sick, I would have gone to the doctor. The if clause did not actually happen. It's just an imagination. It's an imagination of a different past. If I had known you were coming to my house, I would have baked a cake. I'm talking about what could have happened in the past and what I would have done if that had happened. If we had looked at the railway timetable, we would have reached on time. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. If we had left earlier, we wouldn't have missed the train. Friends, that was an overview of the 4 conditionals. I know that's a lot of information, but just keep practicing and you'll be comfortable with the conditionals. Do like, share, comment, and do subscribe to an English Nut. See you soon. Have a nice day.